Alrighty, friends, we are back. It's your favorite podcast show of the week. It's Location Weekly. This is episode number 699. Yes, we are almost to the big 700. Um, how are you, Abriana?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. It's, like that sprint to the holidays, right? So, like, it's just packed full of meetings this week and next week and just trying to everybody cram everything in before we all take off. So, yeah, but otherwise I'm great and watching the baseball winter meetings very closely to see what's happening and Juan Soto going to the Mets and all that. So craziness.
There's a lot of changes. Yes, I'm ready for the downtime for the holidays. Just disconnecting
Yes.
for a
Yeah,
bit.
absolutely. I'm with you. Because January is like crazy, right? Because like you have
Yeah.
NRF, CES and
Yep.
all that stuff, right? So yeah.
Yeah. Nonstop. So gotta take a breath before the rush begins once again.
There you go. Okay, well, we have four stories to cover this week, so I'll let you kick us off
All
with a
right.
retail one.
Okay, let's start in the UK today. Tesco, and if you know, is a grocer that's in the UK, and they are doing this in-store interactive marketing campaign, which is a little interesting. They have a sampling station, and then they have like this AR display that it looks like it's been wheeled in, like it's very temporal looking. Um, and it's blocking out an aisle end cap, which is another screen that surely some brand paid for. Quite
Yeah.
interesting. And the campaign is called the Which Flavor Are You campaign, which as in the Wicked Witch. And like everybody and their mothers, like every brand has jumped on this Wicked bandwagon. Here you are. This one has again the drink brand Robinsons. They have squash drinks. I guess they're like, they're kind of like water juice type of a deal. Um, and so it's put together by Newcastle Production Studios Air Cards. It's using Snaps Tech for AR. And it's like you can turn into one of the two characters of Wicked, the two main characters. The marketing team behind this was from a company called Savvy. I'm looking at the pictures of this and it's just like janky to me. It doesn't look good. And also, if I'm a brand who paid for that end cap that's behind it, I am not happy. I also don't think that there's like a really great tie-in here, like with the Wicked and the brand. It just seems off to me. Like I just feel like it's a bandwagon, and I loved Wicked on Broadway. Have not seen the movie yet, but it just is very, very interesting that this like pop-up kind of screen is there. So I think that on one hand, I like the idea of like, hey, how can we make this more interesting? How can we add in some interactive piece to this campaign? I think is great to the sampling station, but the reality is it looks cheesy. It doesn't look tied together. I don't see a connection between Wicked and this brand. Like, just to say, which flavor are you? Play on words, creative, great, but like, I don't know. This is a big miss for me. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean the image that was shared in the article with, the AR, screen in front of another end cap, like I don't get that. Like that's seems odd to me. I think I do like, the use of AR with a sampling station. I think in general, I think the concept is good. And this but at the same time I'm with you on this whole sort of everybody jumping on the Wicked bandwagon right now. I stepdaughter went with a bunch of friends and saw it in theater last week and said it was good. And I guess like this idea of making it interactive in the sense that, when you do this, with the AR piece, you get a sample of each of their products. So there's two products, right? So there's the citrus twist and the outstandiful berry, it's called. And then based on which one you prefer, then you're transformed into either, the good witch or the bad witch. And you kind of go from there. So, in that sense that it's interactive and there's like you're making a choice and, you're being transformed into, one of these witches. I don't mind that, but I think the whole sort of bandwagony aspect of it and, the placement of this, I think, is odd for me. So, but I like AR with a sampling station. I think it's an interesting combo. So we'll go with that. So, and they
Yeah,
use a company called Air Cards to create the tech for this, the AR tech for this. So there
there
you
you
go.
go.
Okay, moving on. So we're going to talk about Here Technologies and a company called Pioneer Corporation. So they've joined into a strategic partnership, and the idea is to blend location data, from the Here side, and develop or co-develop devices and services for two-wheel fleet management and micro-mobility solutions. So by two-wheel, we're talking about motorcycles and things like that, bicycles. So what they're doing is integrating the Here SDK with Pioneer's hardware and connected solutions to create these joint pieces, right? And they're focusing on dynamic routing, real-time traffic awareness, and navigation. And they want to offer, a range of services to motorcycle manufacturers, fleet management companies, insurance companies as well, who can benefit from this. And, that one's an interesting one for me because, up here in Canada where I am, a lot of the automobile insurance companies have started to, deploy hardware-based solutions in vehicles. So I can go get a sensor, for example, from my insurance provider. I can plug it into the ODBC port of my car and they have real-time access to, how I drive. And based on that, I can get lower rates and things like that. So, and when you're talking about motorcycle insurance, I don't know what it's like for you in the US, but here in Canada, like it's 100 times the price of car insurance because, it's a lot riskier. Um, and so having access to, these types of data services, I think, could be something, that could potentially, bring those costs down, and, make more data available to inform, those insurance actuarial decisions and things like that. So I see good value in that. And, I think obviously we all know Here Technologies, they've been a big part of the LBMA over the years. And, as a player in the automotive space, in fact, they're partially owned by three automotive companies. So I think that there's a lot of power and a lot of maturity and expertise in what they can bring to this, and so I think it's an interesting partnership.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say about the partnership, but I will comment on the insurance piece. I find it like extremely intrusive to do this. It's like I liken it to as somebody wants to like plug in the glucose monitor on your, like just stick that in your arm and be like, oh, she ate a piece of cake, like health insurance is going up. Like,
Yeah,
is that where we're going? Is that where we are heading? I'm like, I am not a fan of this. But everybody's like, hey, we've got access to this data. Who's willing to pay for it? How can we monetize it? And that's a big one. So I
yeah,
get it.
yeah. As long as it's done in a privacy compliant way.
Yeah, it is. It has to be, but
Yeah.
there's a
Any.
lot of question marks.
Yeah.
Let's move on to something more fun, entertainment. Netflix. Netflix has Nextworld, which is on Roblox. And basically, this is a way to keep Netflix specific content fans engaged, let's say throughout seasons, in between episode drops. And you can connect with other fans and also the characters of your favorite show. So, Next World is this Roblox virtual world, and it has like characters, settings, mini games, all around the shows that are on Netflix. So think Stranger Things, One Piece and Rebel Moon. Don't know those, but there's some other ones that just came out. Heartstopper, Spellbound, Cobra Kai. I know that one. So for like Spellbound and Cobra Kai, what they did is some promotional experiences to recreate some scenes from the film and from the show. And there's even like a musical scene for Spellbound and like a martial arts fight for Cobra Kai. So Players can take the place of the main character and play out the scenes. So fun, interactive things. They also have portals that teleport interested players. Like the campaign on programmatic has these portals, so it'll teleport you directly into Nextworld, which is interesting. And then there's like this immersive media and transmedia component of this. So basically, the platform, it's like taking a scene from the show and making it playable. And some interesting things like from a business perspective, right? So Netflix, if you haven't noticed, has obviously has this like gaming push. There's games that you can play now, both on your television, but also on your mobile device. I think gaming is a huge industry, and they're like, oh, what can we go after to grow our bottom line? Like it's not looking so great right now. Like how do we kind of bump this up? And so they saw this as an area that they could go into. So they made a decision to develop a presence in the metaverse platform that stands kind of apart from their more traditional game development. But it's interesting because Nextworld is more of like a marketing play. It's not really intended to get gamers into any of their existing games. It's more like, hey, how do we keep them? I would say like interested and connected with the content that they're coming there for. So the I think maintaining that interest is really a good component, especially for a younger crowd that maybe is on Roblox. And you think about like, okay, they're releasing these episodes, like what you get like four at a time, and then you're gonna have a break, and then you get another few, and you have a break, and you got to wait for them to come back. So I think just maintaining that interest um is very interesting. So I like this. I like that they're thinking a little bit outside of the box. I like that they're guiding people to play, to interact. I think of the shows that I'm watching and waiting for. Some of them take a really long time. So like this is smart. I think that they could do more probably to tie in the gaming and the marketing together, but I think it's a pretty good move. What do you think?
I really like it. I think sort of finding ways to the create a space where people can continue to engage with the shows and the characters, especially in between seasons. And I'm, maybe it's the nostalgia, and I'm old, but I've watched all the Cobra Kai up until now. So, it's that, I mean, I can't believe Ralph Macchio is still out there, doing this, but he is. So I think it's interesting, right? And you know, while there's this focus on gaming and building this gaming, audience, and both, in the, from a TV perspective as well as, in other platforms. I can see a time where, perhaps there's exclusive, content, or maybe even a show or an episode of a show that is only available in Roblox, right? That could drive audience over there into this next world environment, because I think that we've seen retail brands, Nike, Adidas, Gucci, and others have good success in making, product available in an exclusive sense in these virtual metaverse worlds, but still have a tie back to the physical world where you might buy it there, but it's still being delivered to you in the real world, right? And so I really like the connectivity they've created here between, the normal Netflix world and the next world. I like the name too. It's cool. Um, I think it's interesting. So from a content point of view, I love it. I think from an audience building and engagement point of view, I really like it. And I'm wondering, is there, any kind of social sharing, piece to this that is sort of on the horizon. But and the other thing I really liked about it too, is that from an audience point of view and a gaming point of view, I don't think it's a big leap to go from here to, mobile app-based gaming, and creating things like that. So if you have the audience, we all know the success of where that can go, right? In terms of, additional advertising revenue platforms. So I love it,
Yep.
all of it. So, okay, final story. We're going to jump across the pond over to Thailand now. where there's a company called IsWhere, which is one word. This is a location-based digital marketing platform that is rolling out across Thailand, and they are working with retailers and merchants there to basically build out a platform. So they've designed to support 3 million merchants in the retail and tourism sectors. This is a B2B platform that's going to launch in early 2025. So currently they've just announced this. There's a website where you can go as a merchant and you can register. You can create a targeted location-based promotional campaign. You can monitor real-time, ad performance through their platform, and it's incredibly cheap. So that they're saying for you can register your store on the platform for free, and then you can unlock marketing features and run promotional campaigns for just 3,000 baht, which is the Thai currency per month. That's like converted, that's like less than $9 US a month. Like it's super cheap. They're also giving 100 million baht in free vouchers to the first 10,000 merchants who register, through their association or government membership. So I think it's interesting. I mean, there's nothing revolutionary here in terms of technology or what they built or what they're offering, but I think the scale of what they're trying to do, how they're promoting it, the ease of use of the tools that I've seen here, like in terms of what they've announced, makes a lot of sense. And I can also say from the Location-Based Marketing Association's point of view, when I was just talking to one of our former longtime members in Shopper Track, I was mentioning to you earlier on, and we were talking about the LBMA and our global footprint, and I said that like our fastest growth markets is Southeast Asia in terms of where we're drawing new members from. So it's markets like Thailand and Vietnam and Malaysia and markets like that where we're seeing this. And so this is good evidence of that for me, to see companies like IsWhere launching and sort of trying to capture that market and deliver a service that makes sense. So from that point of view, I like it.
Yeah, it's interesting. You start to think about, okay, it's so cheap, they've got to have some massive adoption in order to like really scale this business. But I think that, like you mentioned, these types of businesses are really, really just like skyrocketing and seeing growth like we saw in North America probably like 15 years ago, right? Like there's just
Yeah.
massive adoption, massive growth, and it's interesting because also the cultural norms of location sharing, I think, are like very different. One thing that I did like about this story was that they are going to be supporting multiple languages, and I think that that's like really cool because a lot of people are coming through there and visiting, and having that adoption probably is a big support to some of those local shops. So very
Yeah,
cool.
no, I think that's a good point. And yeah, yeah, multilingual is always a good thing.
Yeah.
All right. So that's our show for this week. You've been listening and watching episode number 699 of Location Weekly. We thank you as always for your time. If you have story ideas, please reach out to us. If we've talked about your company today, we'd love to learn more or get feedback from you on what we might have missed. If you want to get involved in the Location-Based Marketing Association, we have presence all over the world. So reach out to us about that as well. And of course, we'll be back next week with our 700th show. Yes, we've been doing this for that long. So we look forward to talking to you then. But until then, have a great one. Take care. Bye.
Bye.